Good evening, ladies and D-Gens. Welcome back to week 16 of the Distinguished D-Gens podcast. I am your co-host, Steve, Big Bucks Beta. Here always with me is my co-host, Jason Money Mansman. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Got through a wild recap, and now it's time to hit the ground running and do better this time.
Yeah, wild week 15, a lot of crazy finishes, a lot of bad beats. This week, like I mentioned, week 15, your handicapping has to be sharp. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at the wrong side of the fucking barrel, and it's going to be fucking Shitsville and red and catching fire week in and week out. And I don't want to have to go to live betting on Monday night just to get my money back ever again. That was not a good time. But with that said, I think we need to jump into the shit that is week 16, starting off with a real fucking winner here. But this game does have a lot of potential for me as far as a hedging opportunity. Let's jump into it. Jason, Thursday night, odds presented through FanDuel. The Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the New York Jets. They're going in as 1.5 point underdogs, 100 on the money line, over under 37.5. Zach Wilson is officially getting another start here on Thursday night. Um, Jags were plus 1.5 at plus 100 earlier in the evening, earlier in the morning. It's now gone to minus 112 for plus 1.5. They are plus 100 on the money line still. I'll give you the honors of kicking this off to get your thoughts. I'll tell you what I think afterwards. Then we'll
Sure,
get
sure.
into our hedging promo that we mentioned earlier in the recap.
Gotcha, gotcha. So yeah. You know, it's interesting because the Jets actually have covered their last seven December games against the AFC. If you think about it, if you remember the last year of Adam Gase, they had a good December. They had a good December last year with Salah. Um, and their losses really have been against the NFC. They covered that game against Buffalo. Here's what this is like a weird game because I think Jacksonville is sort of you're getting Jacksonville at their zenith now, and you're getting the Jets at their low point. Um,
And it's
where's that?
essentially close to a pick 'em.
Yeah. The weather is going to be terrible, which you would think would favor the defensive minded sort of Jets in a tough slog weather game, rain, ugliness, low over under. My thought here, the kind of thing which would make me lean the Jaguars, besides the fact that you have one team that's going up and the other one going down, Jacksonville Jaguars defense tied for fourth in the league in turnovers forced. We know Zach Wilson could throw up some ducks in a bad weather game. If the Jets get down and can't run the ball and he's forced to throw, are we going to see a few Zach Wilson interceptions here? On that, I mean, I think you take whoever has the points. This is not really a game that I'm looking to bet at its current number. Maybe a live betting opportunity. We talked about it. If you could get the Jags, plus some points if they get down early. Um, or really any of the teams. I might take either one of the teams up plus points if they get down early. But yeah, I would have to lean the Jags because I think there a couple crucial Zach Wilson turnovers could tip the game in Jacksonville's favor.
Yeah, kind of like you said, this game's unbettable to me as well. They're not going to get my money on this. I know FanDuel's offering the same game parlay risk free, but I can't. Unless I look at some crazy numbers and it just makes sense to bet one way or the other, I'm not playing this game. This is going to be a simple, trying not to get overly complicated, not trying to be cute here with the numbers. Um, you get the Jags on the road, which we know has been abysmal, but they've won their last one against Tennessee. They've been looking really good lately, but it's Thursday night where Jacksonville has gone 0 and 4 on the road. They're 1-4 in their last 5 Thursday night football games. A lot of those games, though, were against their divisional opponents. The Jets are they're just in that free fall, unbettable stage right now as well. Jets have been 2-4 straight up since November. They also suck on Thursday night football, dropped 4 in a row straight up in ATS. Weirdly enough, gun to my head, the Jags are the better team. And you have to take the better team. Road teams on Thursday night football are currently 8-6 straight up in ATS. Road teams have won 4 of the last 6. If you exclude the Thursday night, sorry, if you exclude Thanksgiving games. So I think in a weird spot like this, it does tend to favor the road team. The Jets at home, I think, will be electric in bad weather. But I think if you look at the run game right now, I couldn't even tell you the first name of the Jets running back, Knight. You have him,
Zonovan.
Zonovan Knight, who got completely shut down last week, or Travis Etienne. Etienne's the better running back. Jags will be able to establish the run before the Jets will. Zach Wilson will be able to throw interceptions and cost plays.
Well, I mean, Zach Wilson can't hit receivers in perfect conditions. He was complaining about the wind during the Patriots game. He's gonna be able to throw
Well, he
the
was
ball in
complaining
the
about
rain.
everyone but himself. Like,
I mean, he's gonna be able to throw the ball in the rain. That's my fear with this game. Like, is he
my
gonna be able
fear
to
is
complete a
that
pass?
here's my fear. This is supposedly Jacksonville at their highest. This is supposedly the Jets at their lowest, and it's a pick'em. Why is this a pick'em? You would think.
Jets defense is why this is.
Well, and also it's Trevor Wilson on the road. Or not Trevor Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. He may as well be Trevor Wilson. I mean, he's been literally take away the Titans game. He's absolute dog shit on the road. And all of a sudden he beats the Titans 1 week. And he's a 1 point road underdog.
Well, they beat the Cowboys. I mean, you know, they're trending in the right
at
direction.
home though. That was at home though.
Well, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there. That's true. Different
So
story.
literally, this is the line from last week. I want to bet one team, but literally the logic says you need to take the other. I want to bet the Jets for more than one reason. I actually think the Jets could pull this off, but it was the same reason I thought the Jets could technically pull it off against the Lions last week. They found ways to fuck that up. I think the same thing could happen here. I think the Jets should win this at home against this Jags team, considering they are at their highest, and you're getting the Jets at a pick'em. If you asked me this 4 weeks ago, I'd be all over the Jets. But that was 4 weeks ago.
If Mike White's the quarterback, my best bet is the Jets. Pick him.
I'll give you that, for sure.
With Zach Wilson, though, I mean, God, it's like he could get strip sacked, fumbled, and throw 3 duck interceptions. And, I mean, think about it. If they go and they give up 14 points off turnovers and Jacksonville scores 10, I mean, Jacksonville scores 24. Do we have faith in the Jets to score in this game?
Well, do the Jets win this game in spite of Zach Wilson, like they've done in the past? Or
he would need to not turn the ball over, and that's the fear. I mean, is he going to, in the rain, be able to not turn the ball over?
If Robert Saleh doesn't let him throw, then yeah.
I mean, can they run the ball? Like, because what you saw the Lions did was they put 9 in the box and dared them to throw, and they just couldn't do it consistently enough.
No, I got you, dude, and that makes sense.
That's
underplay for this game. I got under 30. I know it's 37.5 now. I had it at 38. I'm still playing the under. This is going to be shit weather, shit conditions. It's going to be a lot of
hate
running.
these weather games.
It's going to be cold. And that's the other thing, too. Like, Jacksonville in the cold.
Good defense.
Good defense. And the pick'em doesn't concern me, but this is a good over-under play. I like the under here, personally. I just don't think Jacksonville... I mean, let's be real. The first half, Jacksonville got 3 points against the Cowboys. The Jets' defense, I would argue, could be better than Dallas. Like, this could be upset city for Jacksonville fans. Especially, too, Jacksonville's getting 60 fucking 3, is it?
Yeah.
No, 58% of the money, but they're getting 69% of the bets.
Well, yeah, that's because the Sharps. You remember all those Sharps that thought Jacksonville was a top 15 team earlier in the year? Yeah, they're back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what
See,
pisses
we
me off.
told you. We told you Minnesota sucks and Jacksonville's
Well,
really good.
well, Sharp Better would have gotten Jacksonville at +1.5 when it was +100. So that could make sense too. You see
Yeah.
+100 on a spread, it's hard to turn that down.
Yeah. It's so disgusting. Real quick aside, then we'll move on to the next one. I'm listening to my pro betting podcast, and this guy's talking about all the summer lines that he got, and it's like fucking ridiculous. Oh yeah, you know, um, yeah, Philly, Dallas. Yeah, I got, I had gotten Dallas like +3 in the summer line. And now the line is like, the last time I saw it, it was like Dallas -4.5 or something. And he's like, literally, his closing line value for every game is like 8 points. And I want to shoot myself because every game, it's literally, oh, yeah, in the offseason, I got Baltimore against Atlanta. I got Baltimore at -1. And now they're, 7-point favorites. It's disgusting. But anyway.
That is disgusting. Here's what else is disgusting. So we had, you know what? I think we should save this for the Houston Tennessee game. We were going to get into the hedging. Let's save it for that game. Now that we
Okay.
know how we feel about Jacksonville, let's save it for that game. Okay. Next game, Saturday, Christmas Eve, 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins makes his return after the largest comeback of the year. Vikings hosting the New York Giants, coming off their big Sunday night win against the fucking Commanders. Vikings laying 3.5, -210 on the money line. Giants are +176. The over/under is 47.5. Vikings are currently getting 58% of the bets to cover, 54% of the money. Have they not seen this Viking team in the last like 4 weeks?
I guess the question is motivation. That might be the question in this one, motivation
For the Giants or for the Vikings?
for the Vikings.
Well, they got the division. Philly would have to lose out for them to get number one.
Could get
Num
overtaken by number 3 though, because the Niners I think have 4 or 5 losses, something like that.
uh, well, regardless, you're playing first round. And you're either playing the Commanders, the Giants, or God, who's the other wild card right now? Dallas. So I guess if you're trying to avoid playing Dallas,
Well, the question is, let's say you win the first game, do you want a home game in the second round?
I guess. I mean,
Like, I mean, do you remember last year when the Bills were
oh, Niners are 10-4, Vikings are 11-3. So
remember when the Bills were a 3 seed? Or they were like a 3 seed and had to go and play Kansas City on the road in game 2 rather than being at home game 2. Like, I think that matters to me, at least.
well,
Being a
I
2.
mean, realistically though, you're worried about the Niners, and you're already a game up.
Well, I'm
So
saying motivation because you said, did they not watch this Vikings team? And I think the -3.5, or right, -3.5,
yeah,
it is
are the Giants not
motivation
motivated?
driven.
But are the Giants like going to be motivated because they're still a wild card?
Well,
I
they
mean,
need to. I mean, they're not in the playoffs yet. They need to win.
they are. No, they're a wild card.
Well, but I mean, they're not like they could lose and be out. Like they need to keep playing.
Yeah.
They could actually clinch if they win and get some help. They could clinch this week.
So here's my thoughts. Giants haven't won in Minnesota since 2010. Since 2010, they've gone 1-3 against them. They're 3-7 in their last 10 altogether. If you go all the way back to 2004, which I want to say was Eli Manning. Um, Despite all that, the Vikings are my fade of the week. I, hand to God, I've been sharps giving them shit for backing other teams for DVOA, for backing them with point differentials, literally saying that the Vikings are just a lucky team. And I was one of those guys that was like, you know what? say what you will, this team wins. My problem is that the last 4 games, this Vikings defense has been exploited by literally the worst of the worst when it comes to offenses. Arguably, debatable. Uh, Literally, you're Minnesota. You give up 27 to 34 points on defense to Mac Jones, Mike fucking White, Jared Goff, and then you let the Colts and Matt Ryan go up 33 to nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you have to pull a miracle of all miracles to get the biggest comeback of the year, of all time. In overtime, you kick a field goal. Now you get this Giants team who just came off their biggest divisional win of the year.
Short rest for the Giants.
A little bit of short rest. But they're on the road, which they've been really good on the road. 4-2 straight up, 5-1 ATS. Their D line got Kayvon Thibodeau back, and I think that D line looked a lot different and a lot
Thibodeau
scarier
had
with
a
that.
fucking game on Sunday.
And now, say what you will about Washington's O line, say what you will about Washington in general. Tell me that Giants defense did not look scary with that kid in play.
Okay, Washington's offense isn't great. They looked pretty good. Yeah, they look good. They look good.
Now, Minnesota's O line, let's be real, they are a step up. But this is Kirk Cousins after the biggest win of his life. Kirk Cousins just this season alone after a win, he's 4-5-1 ATS. The Vikings, their luck never seems to end. We're getting towards that point at the end of the season. They've already won the division. We know they're not getting number one. This to me just seems like a game they could cough up out of an affordability prospect, and also because they literally just came off their biggest fucking game of all the whole season. Literally, they were down in the dumps, ready to lose. I think if they had actually lost against the Colts, the Vikings would have been my best bet this week. They just put in the biggest performance they have done all season, 15 weeks out. Now they're getting a Giants who literally are 2 weeks after the bye with their players back. And their defense has just been giving up fucking touchdown left and right. They can make Daniel Jones look like a fucking MVP this game. And that's my concern. And that's why the Giants plus 3.5 would be my play.
Yeah, I would endorse this. Half endorse, not thrilled because I don't know where the relative. I've never been good at predicting team motivations. I don't really think that's a strength that I have as a bettor. So I don't, for the life of me, I can't really figure out what the team motivations are going to be. Are the Vikings going to be motivated now that they've clinched the playoff berth? Are the Giants going to be motivated coming off a big division win? Who's going to have the edge in that department? I don't really know. I tend to think like you that the Giants will play tough on the road. Vikings have won 13 in a row as favorites, though. So this is one of my split plays. I actually, if I had to pick Giants to cover, but I think the Vikings could pull out a close victory. I'm just concerned about the Giants' defense. I mean, they still have a lot of, let's be honest, a lot of practice squad type talent out there.
I'm going to take that with you. I actually had the Giants to win this one because I was afraid of not having an insane amount of underdogs this week. But the more you talk, it's like, and the more I hear myself, the Giants very well could lose this. The Vikings have been a team where they outscore the opponent. They're not a team that like shuts people down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, it's hard because my question is: are the Giants going to have motivation, or the Vikings going to have motivation? I think if the teams have equal motivation, you know, Giants just talent-wise, they're not as good. I mean, they're just not.
I mean, the way I look at this, if the Vikings go down to 3, they have to play the 6. Right now, that's the Giants. So do you want to play the Giants again in a few weeks? At homes in the playoffs? Or do you want to just keep the 2, play the Commanders? Or potentially Seahawks, Lions, Packers, Yeah, that would be the other three.
It's weird. I'd
Personally,
rather
I
play the
kind of would play
Giants.
the Giants. Yeah, I would
Yeah, I'd
too. So
rather
that's
play
why
the
I'm
Giants.
that's why I'm thinking like the Vikings could be willing to lose this game out of a fucking strategic point, because God forbid they do fall to three, they could play the Giants at the six. Now, now I could be wrong. The Vikings could come out swinging, and they could always be the offensive juggernaut that just lets Justin Jefferson get 100 yards catching. Adam Thielen has a day too. Dalvin Cook could get involved. You never know. And this Vikings team, let's be honest, they're very unpredictable. Kirk Cousins is still pretty fucking average as far as the quarterback goes. But this, to me, just the reason I'm fading it is that literally they came off their biggest win to clinch the division in a game they were down 33-0 and could have just rolled over and died for anyways. They actually got the division, so whatever motivation is left, the only thing I can think of is it's for number one, and I don't think they're getting it.
I would be motivated to be the 2 seed because you get a guaranteed second playoff game. In the divisional round, you could be a home team, and that's huge because that's big, especially for the
Well,
Vikings who have
you
been
would get
better,
two.
who have been better at home.
Well,
Than
if you're the three, you get two. You would get two home games because
not if you're the 3. No, 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 no. Well, not
well, you're right.
necessarily. Not necessarily. If the 2 wins,
The two would play the lowest seed, which would be the 4, 5, or 6. Unless all three of them lose,
no, 2 would play the 3
two
if
would
the
play the.
3 wins.
Oh shit! Well, I thought. Oh no, one plays
And
the lowest. Yeah.
one would
So
play the lowest. Yeah. So
yeah. So maybe there's that. I think we've gone on long enough for this game.
yeah, that's done.
Over 47.5 is my play. Minnesota gives up a lot of points.
Yeah. Then the Giants D isn't wonderful. So
All right,
makes
here we
sense.
go. Next game. Uh, the misogynist Deshaun Watson hosts the New Orleans Saints and Andy
Oh my
Dalton
God! Another weather game.
-2.5, -154. Going to be cold shit weather in Cleveland. Laying 2.5. Over under 32.5. Officially the lowest over under total in NFL history in betting.
Yep.
Lower than any Broncos game I have ever seen. Cleveland getting 69 to 72% of the bets and the money.
Yeah, I may actually bet Cleveland too. Here.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear it. Let's hear your thoughts.
It's real simple. I've talked about it before. Cleveland is good at home. They've been good at home all year. Well, much better at home than they have been on the road. They play in weather. Saints are a dome team. We've talked about the Andy Dalton stats on the road before on this podcast. You want more numbers just to give you an idea? Saints haven't covered 5 of the last 6 on the road. Kind of matches what we've talked about. I mean, it's just real simple. Team that's bad on the road, plays in a dome, going in weather to Cleveland. I mean, I hate Deshaun Watson. I hate the idea of betting him. I can't believe they won last week. Well, not really. I mean,
it was Tyler Huntley. I mean,
but Andy Dalton on the road's terrible. He hasn't been good all year, and even in the weather, I hate to ever take points. I hate to ever lay points in a game where the over/under is 31 because it suggests low-scoring game. But I think Cleveland could win this one like 14-3 or something. I don't even know if the Saints are going to score.
yeah. So I divided this handicap up. The sharp side, hammer the Browns at home. Every reason you just mentioned. It's also an NFC non-conference road spot for the Saints. They've been pathetic, utter losers on the road. They're 0-4 straight up, 1-3 ATS with Andy Dalton. Cleveland, with their garbage tendencies, have won 3 in a row straight up in ATS at home. New Orleans has dropped 4 of the last 5 against their AFC opponents. The Browns have had success this season with the NFC South, albeit that was with Jacoby Brissett. They've had great success at home against NFC opponents as well. Since 2020, 5-1 straight up, 4-2 ATS. The D-Jet side, the crazy, don't fucking listen to the smart guy. go with the Red Rifle and the Saints. Here's why. Andy Dalton is the quarterback. He used to be a Cincinnati Bengal.
Oh
This guy
Lord.
has had a lot of experience in Cleveland. He's also had a lot of success. 12 and 5, 5 and 3 straight up in Cleveland. 12 and 5 all time. Although all that time he was with
When
the
did he last play for Cincinnati? How long ago was that now?
2019.
Okay, buddy. Keep going.
Deshaun Watson has thrown 2 touchdowns over 3 games. This team cannot score. Say what you will. I know New Orleans sucks. They do manage to get points. This is a game. I think Andy Dalton, kind of like you said, 14 to
They scored
3
21 points against Atlanta last game.
in the first half, and then proceeded to like
I mean, come on,
do
man.
spit.
Oh boy, this is
Deshaun
speculative. But go ahead, go
Cleveland
ahead.
Cleveland's a public favorite with Deshaun Watson, and that blows my mind. Like this should be a split, like if anything. But
Why?
Cleveland's getting. Why is Cleveland getting so much money?
Because they're better than New Orleans. New Orleans sucks. They don't play well on the road.
But
Like
Cleveland sucks too, and that's my point. Cleveland sucks too. Let's
not at
not
home.
pretend.
Not at home. They don't.
Deshaun Watson sucks against the NFC though. He's 5 and 8 straight up his whole career. 2 and 4 straight up at home. Now again, that was with the Texans. Now he's with Cleveland. Literally the lowest over under in my life. The DJ side of me says that New Orleans could play a game like they did against Atlanta and win 21 to 14, 21-13. And the question is Andy Dalton going to do enough on the road
I
to
don't
get a
think you
win?
realize how bad this weather's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Over under 31.
I
I
mean,
gotta
look,
see.
is this a Nick Chubb versus Alvin Kamara kind of headliner game because it's going to be running?
I mean, it's gonna be a run game. It's gonna be a run game. 30 mile an hour. Oh yeah, wind gusts as high as 60 to 70 miles an hour.
Get the
One
get
to
the hell
three
out of
inches of snow expected. Remember the Bills' wind game? This is going to be the Browns' wind game. I mean, this is going to be insane. I mean,
No, this is going to be run, run, run all day. God, so the under, that explains the under. And I have over 33.5 for this game. Oddly enough, it's just,
I mean that's dangerous, buddy.
bro, if you're saying it's 60-mile-an-hour winds, they're not punting. They can't punt. Or they're going to punt and it's just going to go. I mean, like, this is,
Are they going to be able to throw? They're not going to be doing much throwing either.
I mean, we're going to see. It's going to be one of those crazy scenario type games. I mean, Nick Chubb and Alvin Kamara, they could each 3 touchdowns to 2. It could happen in this fucking win.
It's possible, yeah. Not like
Like,
either of these teams has a particularly good run defense. So
I mean, that's another point too. Like, it's crazy to say I'm taking an over in a stupid wind game, but I mean, we're gonna see.
hey, you want to definitely go for it, man.
Maybe I don't know. I just so now let me get this straight. Deshaun Watson really can't throw. Nick Chubb has
Hopefully the
been
wind will be at his
Nick Chubb
back.
is the 27th ranked running back in fantasy since week 10.
How the hell did that happen? Yeah.
Because they learned if you stop Nick Chubb, you tend to win games. Like, don't get me wrong. If I had to bet this, I'm taking Cleveland. Like, if I had to, I'm not gonna. I'm just saying, I think there's a real strong argument for the Saints. And I know they suck on the road. I know Cleveland's good at home. I think this is just one of those crazy scenarios. I think the Saints could pull off an upset. But
Yeah, I
no.
guess it's possible, man.
And that but again, that's why it's my DGen side. That's not my actual sharp side. Sharp
Gotcha.
side, you need to lay it with Cleveland.
Gotcha.
All right, next game. God, I'm doing so much talking. Sorry for the nasally voice. Okay, speaking of public sides, Detroit Lions are going to the Carolina Panthers. They're going in at -2.5, -152 on the money line. Carolina Panthers are home dogs plus 128, over under 43.5. Detroit's getting 90% of the bets and 90% of the money.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I know I said I'm done fading Detroit.
Jumping back on the bandwagon.
The lie detector determined that was a lie. My dog of the week, the Carolina Panthers.
It's a bad play by you. It's a really bad,
Um,
bad decision.
okay, so I know we went over in the recap. We basically the Lions were never really the best side of that whole game. I'm not saying there was any lucky breaks. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win. But a punt return for a touchdown was the only reason they were in that game to begin with. They didn't really impress me on the road this last game against the Jets. Um, yeah, Jared Goff on the road is not the same as Jared Goff at home. If it wasn't for the fucking long bomb, fourth fucking drive, fourth and goal to fucking Brock Wright, whoever the fuck he is, they probably wouldn't have won that game anyways. Not that Carolina is a great team. They've already committed to the rebuild. Steve Wilkes and the Panthers have been a lot better at home lately. They've gone 3-1 straight up in ATS in their last four. Detroit's defense too. Maybe the numbers are inflated from earlier in the season. Maybe I'm just not getting a good read on it. But last I checked, they're still considered one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Sam Darnold played the Steelers, who are arguably one of the better defenses in the NFL when they have TJ Watt, which was who they got last time. They managed to hold him to 8. I think if Mitch Trubisky has another bad game, Panthers win that. Last point I'll make. Last week, I mentioned how Carolina historically sucked against the Steelers. Historically, the Panthers own the Lions. They are 5-1 straight up against the Lions. They've won 5 in a row. And I just don't understand betting the Lions on the road as a 90% public favorite. When you look at the rest of this year, the Lions on the road was generally a bad bet to begin with. Now, all of a sudden, because it's the Panthers, considering they've been good at home lately, it's like the best bet.
Well, the Lions have covered 7 straight. I mean, they've won on the road. Carolina has lost 9 straight home games in December, and those
That's
are
true.
those are the
That's
little
true.
stat things. Here's the key point, and this is what I think your handicaps miss. What did I tell you about Detroit's defense last week? They've been very good recently about stopping the run game. What is
Yeah.
Carolina's entire offense? Again, another good matchup for the Lions, bad for opposition. Just like the Jets wanted to run the ball last week and couldn't. You know Carolina wants to run. They struggled against Pittsburgh because they couldn't run. I think that favors the Lions side here.
Well, I think you have to consider too. DJ Moore was kind of hurt last week. I want to say he started. He's had an extra week's rest. We know Sam Darnold can somewhat throw, at least better than Zach Wilson. Is Sam Darnold missing 50% of the easy throws?
Well, no. But is
Is
he
Detroit?
getting sacked? I mean, is he getting sacked fumbled by Aiden Hutchinson and Houston and you know their D line?
No, but also to be fair, I think if it wasn't, oh god, I'm trying to remember the fucking Jets rookie, Brees Hall. I think if they had Brees Hall, we are looking at an entirely different game. They had a third string running
But
back.
I think the Jets are a better team than the Panthers. Their defense is better.
I don't. Well, the Panthers' defense has not been scrubbed either. Let's be fair.
I mean, Mitch Trubisky did okay. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think the Lions are just a better team.
I think if the Lions were at home, I'd be with you. The Lions all day. It's the Lions on the road. They still are
And I
not that.
get your inclination. They've won 6 in a row. You're looking to fade them. It's like, well, they got to slip up eventually. Like they've won 6 in a row. A
They
lot of
realistically
public
should have.
money.
Realistically, they should have slipped up last week to the Jets, and they didn't. This week again, especially now they're getting more money. They're getting more of the public action. This is just it's kind of a natural fate of the public too. I'm getting
Yeah,
Carolina +2 at home. I mean, against the Detroit team, who, let's be honest, at home they've been unstoppable. On the road, they've been suspect.
not as good.
Not as good.
My big concern is just Panthers aren't going to be able to run, and then that's going to be it for them.
That's a fair point.
That's my only fear in this game.
I mean, with the running, with the defense, under 43.5
Yeah.
was my play when I handicapped
My
it.
this will be like my Barney Bester.
I can't blame you.
Ride with Barno.
You're gonna ride with Barno. All right, that's fine.
Gotta ride
All right,
with Barno.
let's see about this game. Cincinnati Bengals coming off Tom Brady now goes to his former home.
I hate this game too.
Are you gonna hate every game? Is this just how you're gonna react?
No,
every
no,
game?
this is the one I really hate. I hate this
Excuse
one.
me. All right, Cincinnati laying 3 on the road, -176 against New England, +148 at home. Over unders 41.5. Cincinnati's getting 75 to 81% of the bets and money. I'll make this real quick. FanDuel's giving me the exact same line that they did last week against arguably a worse team. Belichick sucks without Brady. There's not much else to it. The Bengals need a game to block the division. This is the game. I'm gonna take the Bengals again. This is my Barney Bester. I mean,
Yeah, I figured you would.
like, what else is there to do? Like, I don't know what the argument is. I mean, I guess you could lay 3.5 for the Patriots if you think it's gonna be close, but considering Matt Patricia still doesn't let Mac Jones throw the ball or really do anything right, I'm not backing Coach Belichick or Matt Patricia at this time. Like, it just seems asinine. But go ahead, like, Jason, go ahead and.
No, I mean the Bengals are becoming my Detroit. They're number one ATS team. They've covered 14 of the last 16 against the AFC. Albeit they have been better at home than they've been on the road. So that's a point in this game. I want to fade Cincinnati, but I can't do it, man. This New England team, I don't know. There's just something about them. They're very unpredictable. They look good, then they have a donkey play like last week to lose them a game. I don't know what to make of this Patriots team.
And you know what concerned me? I said this last week too, and this is what concerned me. Patriots were looking like shit. They beat a backup quarterback in Arizona. All of a sudden, they were back because it was the Raiders. And albeit, the Raiders should have blown that game yet again. It should have been another reason why you should never bet the Raiders. And Jacoby Myers just, out of fucking the sky, decides he's going to lateral it 20 yards to Mac Jones, where Chandler's just sitting there and then just fucking stomps over him like Allen Iverson. It was the most unreal thing.
I'm just like not sold on this Bengals team. I don't know. It's like did my Detroit where you go and you're looking and you're seeing them win and cover and you're like, I don't know. I feel like they should have lost last week. Tampa kind of gave them the game.
This to
something
me
concerns me with this team.
If you like New England at home in December,
who's Cincinnati beating?
They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Bucks.
No. The Chiefs
they beat
game
the
was
Ravens.
Big win.
Trying
to see. Did they get fed on bad teams? Bucks.
Six
Browns,
in a row.
Chiefs.
Bucks, Browns, Chiefs, Titans, Steelers, Panthers. They lost to the Browns. Oh, but before that, they beat the Saints and Falcons. Ravens. Or they lost to the Ravens, but they covered. Dolphins, Jets.
God, they've won a couple. Yeah, I mean they're for real. They're real. I don't know. This game scares me. I I have a feeling that the Patriots might show up for this game. I'm thinking, like in fantasy, I'm really in the middle of this because I'm really thinking of keeping the Patriots defense in because I have a feeling that Joe Burrow might get sacked 7 times and throw 3 interceptions in this game.
Bengals O line has been worse this year. Burrow's known to make mistakes, costly mistakes at times. I mean, the Patriots have gone 2-1 since November, but they beat the Colts and the Jets. Like,
Yeah, God, there's just something about this game. I just don't like it. It
I I think in games like this, you don't overthink it. And again, Cincinnati, public favorite on the road. The Patriots, come
that's
on,
what's.
you look at that play against the Raiders, and now you want to back them.
But I mean that's the problem. What scares me, it's like now the Patriots are just dead. They're just nothing. They're just discarded because one guy made a stupid play. I mean, it was 24-24. They could have come back and won that game on the road in Vegas, where Vegas is better.
And I would have faded them against the Bengals here again, like if they had one.
I mean, they were a 1.5 point dog that lost on the last play of the game, and it's like, well, now they're nothing. And
Well,
I
if
I
they
think
lost in overtime, if
Cincinnati's
they
got.
lost in overtime, say it was a field goal, they lose in overtime. Okay, they lost a close game. The Patriots gave that game away, and the Bengals were down by multiple scores and managed to come back and win. The Patriots were down, they managed to tie it, and then they gave it away to the Raiders. And that's the difference between these two teams. I think the Bengals are that much higher level up compared to the Patriots when it comes to like playoff caliber. Get these two teams in the playoffs, I'm taking the Bengals all fucking day. I don't care where. But it's regular season, the motivation angle could be there for the Patriots. I hear you, but I I'm not taking Belichick here. Like I'm done with them. I'm done with their team. I'm done pretending that they have a chance. They've lost. Like I want to say they've lost like a lot lately too. Like I think that's one like 3 of their last 4 they've lost. They've lost 3 of their last 4. I was gonna say they beat the Jets, they beat the Colts, they beat the Jets
Yeah,
again.
yeah, they lost to the Vikings, Bills.
And let's be real, they barely beat Arizona's backup in Colt McCoy, and then they gave the game away to the Raiders. Like the Patriots are just not that good of a team. Like they are a wild card, middle of the road team.
Well, I think they're a 7-7 team, and that's, I mean, is
Well, there's no 7-7 anymore. They're either 8-7 or they're 7-8. I mean,
no,
well, they're 7-7. I
yeah,
mean,
they're 7-7.
8-8, 8-9, 9-8. That's the Patriots. I mean,
Well, I mean, that's, I think they could go. I mean, I could see them winning this game. It's a possibility. But, like, I think you are right in that the side that makes sense is Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been playing great. Patriots have lost 3 or 4, and their offense seems to be kind of a week to week sort of mystery. Um, Patriots defense just would concern me. It's just a different type of defense.
maybe it's a live bet game. Maybe you wait for the Patriots to go
Could
down.
be a live bet game. Could be a live bet game.
All right. This game, I want to say I hit the over. I did. Over 41.5. Oddly enough. I think I may switch it. You know what? No, I'm switching this to the under. Under 41.5. I have no faith in the offense anymore for the Patriots. The Bengals could just make the right amount of mistakes to keep this competitive, or they could just score a nothing game manager. I see
Yeah.
27-10,
Yeah. Could be
37.
something like that.
Sure. All right, let's go. Your team, best game of the week. Chicago
Yeah.
Bears. Just kidding. Your team is Buffalo. They're going on the road, laying 8.5, -405 at Chicago, +320 for the Bears and Justin Fields. Over under is 40.5. It's going to be 10 degrees, cloudy, and fucking bitter. Mr. Mansman,
Bills could win in the cold.
Anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually think this could be my bet here would be on the Bills. Um,
Ooh, okay.
Homer, I know. Um,
Well, no, I mean, we've mentioned this before in the podcast, but when Bills win, they do tend to win by multiple scores.
well,
Although
not lately.
lately they have
Not lately.
not lately,
No,
but
here's
I hear
my
you.
here's my insider handicap as a Bills fan. Bills are very good against running quarterbacks. Think about what they've done to Lamar Jackson the past few times they've played him. They're very good at containing those running quarterbacks, surprisingly enough, or have been in the past. I think they can manage Justin Fields. And I want to take you back to the preseason game, Mitch's return to Chicago. If you remember, their backups got some good licks on Justin Fields a year ago. I think the X factor in this game, I think the Bills could score on this Bears defense. I know the Bills offense has been up and down, sort of. The cold's not going to bother them. They're used to the cold. It's Buffalo. Like,
Cole Beasley's back.
yeah, I mean, they're used to the cold. That I'm not worried about that part. They'll get their points, I think. I actually low key think that this defense might really shut Justin Fields down because they have shown an ability in the past with their nickel looks to contain these running quarterbacks. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Bears offense has a really big, tough day and struggles in a way they haven't before because this Bills defense. Now, I know the thinking's going to be, well, the Bills defense has been susceptible to the run. But in a one-dimensional sort of game where the Bears are going to want to run, I think they're going to be able to take that away, actually. You know me, I never give any faith to Leslie Frazier, but I think this.
My only concern is I've seen Justin Fields when he's forced to throw, and he has had success. Um, God, Cole Kmet 3 touchdowns the one game.
Well, that could be bad.
He's had a lot of games where he's ran a lot. He's had games where he's thrown touchdowns too. I mean, I'll real quick pull up the stats, but here's my question. I'm gonna pose this to you just so we can fill the time, but um 8.5 is kind of low if you kind of go with your logic. Last 8 games, Bills have been 2-6 ATS. So why would I, on top of the reasons, why do you think I shouldn't take the points at 8.5 with the Bears? Just from your Bills fandom experience, while I pull up the Justin Fields.
Why should you take the Bears, or why should you?
Why shouldn't I take the Bears plus 8.5 if the Bills have only covered 2 of their last 8 games?
Well, because I think you look at first off, I think you look at the teams they've played, cover-wise. Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, the Lions and Browns off of that short week, Vikings. I don't. That might be 7 or 8.
Nope, Vikings was included.
Yeah, I mean, the competition they've played, they're all better than the Bears. Let's be honest. The Bears are a garbage team. And I think sneakily this is a matchup that the Bills defense could be successful in because they have tended to be successful against these one-dimensional teams. And no offense to Justin Fields. I mean, he threw for 150 yards last week. Against the Packers, he threw for 250 yards, 2 interceptions, and that's like a good game for him. I mean, no offense. Like,
yeah.
The Bills, all right, the Bills are a level of defense that, I mean, you look at Chicago's schedule, and I'm not saying the Bills' defense is immaculate because, I've given them a lot of shit recently, but look at the defenses he's played. They scored 20 points against the Eagles, and a lot of that was on that spectacular run he had. 19 against the Packers.
2 touchdowns, 152 passing yards. Yeah.
I mean, Lions, Falcons, he didn't play against the Jets, scored 29 against the Cowboys. Like, they haven't played a whole lot of great sort of defenses. The last really good defense that kind of stuffed them, if you remember the Commanders game, the Commanders defense kind of shut them down.
Yeah,
I
that's
just think this is a surprisingly not as good matchup as you would think. And my concern is that they might force a couple TOs from Fields this week. I really, I know I've been high on the Bills. I've been a little homerish. I haven't meant to be so, but I'd watch out here.
so. The only things I'll throw out too, just to end it, Bills
Yeah,
did not really cover against the NFC this year. 1-3 ATS. Bills are gonna win. I don't have a doubt about that.
they better.
The defense against the run, when they force the run to be held, has been a good defense. My concern is, can the Bills do both against Justin Fields? And I think Justin Fields is one of those rare quarterbacks where we just haven't seen enough of him throw. He hasn't really had any good receivers, let's be honest. But my concern is that the Bills primarily focus on containing him. But Justin Fields, we've seen him have multiple touchdown passing games. And is this going to be a situation where he's going to start throwing? Is this the game he breaks out with a passing touchdown? I'm not saying Lamar Jackson did it to you guys, but I'm just saying we've seen that argument with Lamar. He threw 5 touchdowns week 1. Like, not this year, but
Not
the one
against the
year he did
Bills,
it.
he didn't. Not
No,
against
not
the
against
Bills,
the
he didn't.
Bills. But my concern is that this is the quote unquote breakout game for Justin Fields. And the Bills, to be honest, too, they've been playing very close for comfort a lot of these games lately. Is this going to be another game they just played too close for comfort for whatever reason? Does Josh Allen make red zone mistakes again? I mean, this 8.5.
It is a little higher
Buffalo
than I'd want, that's for sure.
Buffalo is a non-conference road favorite. I kind of have to take the points with the Bears by default, but I'm not confident in it. I think if anything, I throw this in a teaser at 14.5 for the Bears, and that would be the only way I
Oh, I'd
play
be
it.
I'd
But
be very scared doing that because if the Bills have the ability to blow people out,
that they do, that
that
they
would
do.
scare me. I don't know. I mean,
Bills games are 0-7 under on the road this year. Shit weather. It's gonna be cold. I think it goes to your point. I think if I do like the under, then it either has to be dangerously close or it has to be a blowout where there's no scoring on one side of the ball. So under 40.5 is my play. I would, if I'm playing this game, it's Bills to win under 40.5.
maybe the Bills run the ball, they don't score a lot. I'd just be afraid that Bears defense is not good.
No. All right. Next 1 o'clock game
Next game.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Houston traveling to the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill officially out for the year, sprained ankle. Malik Willis getting the keys to the kingdom. Titans laying 3.5 on at home, minus 172. Texans are plus 144. Over under 35.5. And Houston's getting 54% of the money, but Tennessee is getting 58% of the bets on the spread. Sorry, other way around. Houston's getting 54% of the spread bets, but the Titans are getting more of the money. Money Mansman, the gods are tempting me. This went from 7.5 to 5.5. Now that Tannehill's out, 3.5. The auto fade team of the NFL. Who's covered their last two? Against the Titans, who have lost 4 in a row and they're 0-3-1 ATS. Who I just threw in my auto fade list last week. They get the Texans. They demolished them over the last few years. We mentioned this in the recap, but with Jeff Driscoll and this dual quarterback system, they've actually shown more success. Tennessee, I know they're not used to losing. I know that's all they've done. Treylon Burks is hopefully going to be back, and hopefully their luck will turn around. I just can't give this
With
team.
Malik Willis, I mean,
I actually kind of believe they will be better off with Malik Willis.
Well, that's a
I think
stupid take.
Tannehill's been well. I think Tannehill's been playing injured. He has not been playing well enough. And Malik Willis, say what you will, like for the long haul, an injured Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis, I don't see much of a difference. Malik Willis beat this Texans team earlier in the year. If you need a reminder,
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You know who beat this Texans team earlier
the
in the year?
Texans,
His name was Derrick Henry.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, Derrick
Remember?
Henry.
Yeah,
You're
Derrick
right. No,
Henry.
Derrick Henry beat this team.
Let's see.
Derrick Henry is still healthy.
Yeah, Derrick Henry saw. Oh, here we go. By the way, just a reminder: Derrick Henry, 32 pass completions, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh wait, he's a running back. Those are running back numbers. 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bro.
Um, Here's the question: do the Texans stop the run?
I mean,
No, I
I
don't
mean,
think they.
what is? I think doesn't he have a streak of like 5 straight games against the Texans with like 200
Yes,
yards rushing? It's
yes.
unbelievable.
It, it it
This is
sounds so
unbelievable.
bad. It sounds bad given the situation. You can't take the Texans. Not a
Bro, he
three,
has 9 touchdowns in 4 game in his last 4 games
bro.
against them.
If
It's
you like the
ridiculous.
Texans, you should have jumped on them at plus 7.5. You've now got them down to 3.5. This to me is like thank you Jesus for the Texans or not for the Titans, like
Wow, this
because
is
I
crazy.
didn't want to bet this game. I'm not going to bet this game because the Titans they've done nothing but literally cost me money.
Come back, Steve.
Yeah,
Join us.
but no, like this is like if they're going to bring me back, this is the game. But I can't do it. Like God, even when I tried to live bet the Titans after they tied it against the Chargers, again, I fell to the fucking well, Jason. I live bet the Titans when they fucking were up against the Chargers and they tied it. I was like, oh shit, the Titans might pull it off. And then the Chargers fucking beat them. So it's like 4 weeks in a row I've lost money to this Titans team. I'm not doing it again. I can't
Oh,
do it.
God.
I can't do it again. I don't care. Let them beat the Texans. Please let them beat the Texans. Just go. Just take the wheel.
I
Take the
mean,
wheel, man.
yeah. Well, let's see. What do I have here? Let's see. Um, Derrick Henry. That's my handicap. I mean, it's like, how do you? I mean, how can you bet against, bro? 200 yards in his last 4 games, 9 touchdowns. They can't stop him. And we always talk about how the Texans aren't as good on the road as they are at home. They played well the last 2 weeks, which makes you more afraid. Maybe the Texans could do something, but it's like,
200 yards.
I mean, you're just looking in the face of a beast, and that beast is Derrick Henry, and he's about to stiff arm you in the face. Like, that's what you're doing by betting the Texans here. It's
And again, if you liked the Texans, you should have took them at 7.5.
Malik Willis is getting starting snaps. He's getting first team reps this week. They're getting him ready to go. Who knows? Maybe the kid will, whatever.
They're gonna hand the ball off. Here, practice handing the.
Here's
Now
your
you're gonna.
practice. Ready? There you go.
Now practice handing it. Now we're gonna pretend to hand it to him, and then you're gonna run. What? No, just kidding. You're
I
gonna hand
swear
it
to
to him.
God, if that guy has like another 3 fumbles, every time they've brought in Malik Willis for a trick play, he always fumbles. Have you noticed that?
Oh
Every
God.
fucking time.
No, the Texans right now. It seems like fool's gold because it's Malik Willis. They're like begging you to take the Texans at this point because the line keeps
If
dropping.
it goes under 3, I mean, may have to look at the Titans.
No, for real. Under 35.5 is my play. The Jeff Driscoll bullshit has to end at some point. I mean, this is just getting
That's
ridiculous.
very low though, man. I mean, bro, 9 touchdowns. Derrick Henry's good for at least 2. He might have 3 in this game.
Ah, I mean, is Houston gonna get like? Is Houston gonna score like
That's
27
true. The
again?
Titans defense held the Chargers down at least. That was something.
I mean, God, Houston 3-4 on the road over under. I mean, my thinking is this Jeff Driscoll dual quarterback with Davis Mills bullshit.
Can yeah.
It's gotta go. Like that's my thinking. But over under 35.5. This could be my dummy play. You know what? You're right. This isn't over. This isn't over. What am I doing? Literally 21-14. That's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Jesus Christ.
Man.
Steve, you fucking dumbass. Jesus Christ.
Steve needs the holidays. He needs his vacation.
Oh, after 2 fucking losing weeks. It's
Oh my god.
yeah, guys. Listen, don't listen to me. I've had 2 shit weeks.
I was
I've not
doing
been
so
handicapped.
well. It's so
I was
sad.
doing great. I had winning records. Then the
I was
last 2 weeks hit.
I was doing so good. I had such a good week, and then literally, like, the past 2 weeks have just been dreadful.
Oh, here's another dreadful. Are you ready for the next dreadful game?
Oh boy.
Seattle traveling as a non-conference road dog to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're coming in at 10-point road dogs.
Oh my
Plus
god.
370 on the money line, minus 480 for the Chiefs. The over/under is 48.5. Seattle's getting 63% of the bets on the spread.
Yeah, of course they
Kansas
are.
City's getting 51% of the money though. Chiefs don't cover. Seattle Seahawks games 5-1 over on the road. Seattle plus 10 over 48.5. That's my handicap. They're not going to win this, but Chiefs don't cover.
It's the problem with this game. The Chiefs never seem to cover. This is a bad spot for the Seahawks, though. This is like a no play game for me again. I never play these Chiefs games because they never cover. And
I
sometimes they
mean,
go and they don't
I could tease
even.
the Seahawks to 16. Like, think about that. I could tease them with 2 other teams and get the Seahawks to 16.
Yeah, but the Chiefs haven't been home for a while. That's my one fear with this game. They play 3 straight games on the road. Now they're coming back home. Is
Oh,
this a
for
sort of
for the
home?
tomahawk chop?
Is this
Yeah.
is this like a home spot where they go up 40-0 early in the game?
I mean, have the Seahawks been good though? Like, I
Well,
mean,
no,
they've
the
been
Seahawks have been
decent.
terrible. Really? Decent. Haven't they
I,
lost like 3 games in a row? And not
no, they beat the Rams in that close game. They've won 3 of their last 4
no. Really?
on the road. Yeah, not in general on the road. Sorry.
Oh, well, that's
They
like
beat the Chargers in LA. They beat the Cardinals. They lost to Tampa Bay. Was that the
okay. After they beat the Cardinals, here since November 6th, here's been their record: loss in Munich to the Bucks, loss at home to the Raiders. They beat the Rams with Jason Mansman at quarterback by 4 points.
sir, his name is
Was
Baker Mayfield.
no, it
Just
wasn't
kidding.
Baker. It
It
was
wasn't
what's
Baker.
the
No,
hell was it? Wolford?
John Wolford.
John Wolford, who got benched for Baker Mayfield.
No, he got
Lost
hurt.
lost to the Panthers, lost to the Niners. So let's see. In their last 6 games, 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 2-4. 2-4 in their last 6, 1-4 in their last 5. I mean,
Ooh.
do they have any chance of winning this game? Because I don't think so. I think they're going to
I
get
don't think they have a
big
chance. The
doors
Chiefs
blown off.
defense, if you watch that Broncos game, the Chiefs defense gave up a lot of big plays. The Seattle Seahawks with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they can give up the big throws.
Tyler Lockett's out. So
Okay, DK
Marquise
Metcalf.
Goodwin.
Okay, Marquise Goodwin. Okay, like
I mean,
The
I
Chiefs
guess
defense, the secondary for the Chiefs
it's
is
not
is
good. That's true.
it's humorous.
I
It's
think it's an overplay. What's the over on this?
48 and a half. It's an
Is it
overplay.
gonna snow? Is it gonna like snow in Kansas City or something?
I will
48.
say here's the big concern. Seattle hasn't covered in 5 straight games. That's the big concern.
Yeah.
Like Kansas City doesn't cover, Seattle hasn't either. Um, with that said, I like 10 points.
A lot
This to
for a
me,
team that never covers.
on either side, the more you think about it, like it's better to take the points than to bet with them, in my opinion. But then again, it's the Seahawks non-conference road. God's non-conference road dog. How are they 6-14 straight up, but they're 10-10 ATS. So it's literally flip. My thinking is flip a coin. This is the kind of game you flip a coin on this 10 point spread. It could go either way. I could see this being God 30, 34-24. I could see this being a 34-17 game for a while in the fourth, and then the Seahawks get the back door.
Yeah, this an overplay, especially two Seahawks defense, eighth in turnovers. You know, Mahomes could throw the ball up. Could we get some defensive points for the Seahawks?
Yeah, no, this is an overplay by a long shot. It's my overplay of the week, believe it or not. Um,
Yeah, I
God,
think.
I
The
non-conference road spot. You should take the Chiefs. I just think 10 is a lot for a team that I think. Like, let's be real. The Chiefs were playing at Denver with more. They didn't cover. They had the Texans last week. They went to overtime. I think the Seahawks are better than both those teams. And I think you're still laying 10. It's unreal. Like, I get your point. The Seahawks have not been good. I just noticed they haven't covered either. But if Kenneth Walker's back, I mean, the Seahawks, too, they have scored a lot more on the road than they have at
you can't
home.
run against the Chiefs. They have a good rush defense.
Yeah,
Can't
but
run
Gino could
against them.
throw. I think this has the potential to be a big game. Like, I think this could be a real good close game one way or the other.
Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for the Chiefs to lose. I want the Bills to get the number one seed, so I'm pulling for a Chiefs loss here, big time.
All right, here we go. Next game. Our hometown Baltimore Ravens are hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Lamar Jackson may or may not be playing. Falcons are plus 7.5, plus 265 on the line. Over under 35.5. Money Mansman, please, for the love of God, tell me you have a handicap for this because it's looking rough.
No, the handicap for this is the number suggests Jackson's going to come back, and the Falcons have been dreadful on the road, 1-8 in their last 9. Um, Now, the Ravens haven't been good covering as home favorites. They haven't covered their last 6. But my thought is if Jackson comes back, the Ravens defense could be the key to this game. Ravens defense that has generally been good against a rookie quarterback who, you know, let's be honest, he's a guy like they're trying to see what they have. He's learning. This is a tough spot for him on the road in a game the Ravens need to win. And if Jackson comes back, again, I don't like the 7. I would be hoping to get something lower than that. Maybe live, 4.5, 5.5, something like that, under 6. But yeah, I'd be looking to the Ravens in this because Atlanta's defense isn't great, and Atlanta's not good on the road. I mean, that's something we've talked about for a while, and the numbers continue
Yeah.
to support that.
This is a conditional handicap. Just so you know, very conditional, subject to change. Not signing my life away on this. Not getting a payday loan. It is very oddly simple. Does Lamar Jackson play? If he does, Ravens money line, hammer it. let's remind the world, he's very good against the NFC. He's 15-3 straight up. He
Mhm.
lost to the Giants earlier in the year, but
It's
the
true.
Giants may be a good team. And by the way, they were winning most of that game before they blew that game as well. Ravens, eerily enough, have looked like the Raiders, the Falcons. I'm sorry, Matt Ryan. Ravens have blown a lot of double cover leads. And now I'm being asked to lay 7.5. Let's say it's Lamar. Let's just say it is. Laying 7.5 with him at home at this point is already a steep ask, healthy or not. Now he's coming back potentially off the injury. Well, not potentially. He's coming off an injury. And I'm laying 7.5 with him at home, where he's been 1-5 ATS all fucking season. I would bet this right now, plus 7.5.
Oh wow.
And this would be my best bet. And
Whoa.
this is why. It's a numbers play. That's all this is. I'm not saying
Ooh.
the Falcons. This is
Balls.
strictly a numbers play. This is the gamble is, does Lamar Jackson play, yes or no? Because if Tyler Huntley gets the start, that
You
number's
basically
tanking.
have like a free roll, yeah.
That number's tanking. If Lamar Jackson plays,
It's not going to go up because I think the numbers factoring that he's most likely going to play.
then the number doesn't move. And I still think 7.5 is still steep. Think of it this way. Say the Atlanta Falcons have been bad. They covered 6 in a row to start the season. They've been donkey shit ever since. They still have kept a lot of games very close. You look at their last 4 games, all those games ended in 6 points or less. If you look at their entire season, Jason, 11 of their 14 games so far this season ended with a 3 to 6 point margin.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
This is a line at 7.5 with the Falcons. I love it at 7.5. I love it more in a teaser at 13.5. And even crazier, Jason, there's a great hedge opportunity here. And by hedge, I mean double up in middle. So say you get the Falcons plus 7.5. Lamar Jackson gets the start. Did you know that you could play margin spreads, Jason? We haven't really talked about this too much, Jason.
No, we haven't.
So margin spreads comes with a little bit of a price, but you basically bet a team to win between a margin of points. Key number 1, that team has to hit. Key number 2, it has to stay within the point margin. Ravens to win by 1 to 13 points is plus 130. So I actually went and bet this. Falcons plus 7.5, Ravens to win 1 to 13. Basically, if Lamar Jackson wins and does blow the 7.5, I don't think this is going to be a massive blowout. It's going to be closer. Their offense was already suspect as it was. We saw this game with the Panthers. They won 13-3. They literally they barely had an offense with Lamar. Now with Tyler Huntley, we know what they are. If Lamar comes back, I just don't see them going up 30-3 in this kind of a crazy game. This is a game I actually think the Falcons, if Tyler Huntley does play, the Falcons could get away and steal this one and win outright. But it is a rookie quarterback on the road in December for the Falcons. So plus 7.5, it's very conditional. Now the condition is if Lamar Jackson plays, that Falcons plus 7.5 is what becomes questionable. The Ravens to win 1 to 13 is essentially a lock.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's an interesting bet. That's I can't I get where you're coming from. I'm just afraid of the spot. I'm afraid because I'm just concerned that the Ravens are going to be super motivated. And again, I told you, not good at playing those, but I think the Ravens, after that loss in a game they need with their quarterback back, I think this could be one of those games where, and especially too, I wouldn't even be so concerned if it wasn't. Is the defense going to force a couple bad turnovers by the Rook and get some like 14 points off turnovers to blow the game out of hand? You know what I mean? Is it going to be a 10-point game and then there's a couple late turnovers and it goes to 24?
I mean, I'll just pull the Ravens schedule up real quick just to go over the last few games. They lost 13-3. That was with Tyler Huntley. Again with Tyler Huntley at Pittsburgh, 16-14. Against Denver, that was with Lamar Jackson starting and healthy, 10-9. Let's go to the games Lamar Jackson was healthy and actually completed. At Jacksonville, 27-28, they blew. Versus Carolina. So again, at home, NFC South team, backup quarterback. They won 13-3, but they didn't get the cover. Their last win and cover, believe it or not, besides the Pittsburgh game where they weren't an underdog, so when they were a favorite, it was actually Monday night in New Orleans when they won 27-13. And they were only a minus 1.5 point favorite. But a lot of these Ravens games when they won, I mean, I'll keep going back. They played Tampa the week before that, 27-22. They were a road dog. Looking back now, you're like, why? Cleveland, 23-20. They lost to the Giants, 20-24. 19-17. The Ravens, believe it or not, you look, they play a lot of fucking dangerous close games too. Oddly enough. So and believe it, it's like maybe the head should actually have been the Ravens 1-13 and the Falcons plus 7.5 is just looking better and better. And again, I'm not saying Ritter's good, but it's literally a numbers play and nothing else. Why are the Ravens laying 7.5 at home? It's absurd.
Yeah, 7.5 is a little high. I will say that.
I got no other thoughts. I mean, I have the over/under real quick, under 37.5. It is a rookie quarterback. If Tyler Huntley starts, this number's plummeting.
I'm just afraid of the turnovers. That's my big. I get
why. So Justin Tucker could go kick a field goal. I mean, like the Ravens
don't convert. Be pick six. There could be pick sixes.
I mean that could be any game, right, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, rookie quarterback, second career start against a good defense.
Yeah. Well, that was the last of the Saturday 1 o'clock games. I do want to end it on this question. We kind of skipped it over.
Sure.
The divisional hedge.
Oh, yeah, we'll end with the divisional hedge.
So, divisional hedge, let's go over it. I had Kansas City and Tennessee Titans. I'll go pull up the odds real quick. The long story short was I had them both to win the division. I had them both at plus money. Kansas City officially clinched the division. I need Tennessee to clinch. So it's a plus six. It's a 65-1. No, not 65-1. Maybe plus 655 parlay. Tennessee needs to clinch the division. They're one game out. Jacksonville's on their tail. Do I hedge and take the Jaguars at minus 125 at this point to win the division? Or do I wait till after Thursday?
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, Titans are 7-7, Jags are 6-8. They're really the only two teams that are, Colts are too far away. They're kind of out of it. Here are the games to give you an idea of what you're looking at. Titans play at home against the Texans, at home against the Cowboys, Thursday night football, December 29th, on the road in Jacksonville, January 8th, last game of the year. Okay, so that's the Titans schedule.
Okay.
What do we have for the Jaguars?
Oh, God, Jaguars are minus 145 now.
What the hell happened?
They're being hammered.
Being hammered because of Malik Willis. Jaguars on the road against the Jets, on the road against the Texans New Year's Day.
Which they lose, last I checked.
Yeah.
They always lose.
At home against the Titans.
Oh, man. Houston always beats the Jags, though. Oh God. Okay, so I got both teams going 1-1.
which means the last game would decide it. God,
Oh, that would be sick.
what I would almost think to do is if the Jets. This is so bad. I think you have to hope that the Jets win tomorrow because that might reduce the odds closer to even, and then you could hedge. Because if the Jags win against the Jets, I think both teams might lose week. I don't know if the Titans could go into Dallas with Malik Willis and win that game. Now, maybe
Probably
the
not.
Cowboys have decided to sit everybody. I'm not sure.
Mm, they did it to Green Bay, but Dallas is the way better team, so they're not beating Dallas.
Well, I don't think the division is clinched yet for. The division is not yet clinched for the Eagles.
It comes down to this week. It comes down to this game.
So presumably if the Cowboys win, they'll have an incentive to play against the Titans. In which case, I think the Titans probably lose that game. Well, if the Titans lose, it really doesn't matter what the Jaguars do. Because then it's going to come down to the last game anyway, because they'll have the same record. It'll be
So do you think I
AFC
should
South
wait?
Championship.
Well, I guess you're saying I should wait till Thursday because if the Jags lose, at the very least, I'll get it at better odds. If they win, they're tied. Till the Titans play. And if the Titans beat the Texans, it's back to square one anyways. If the Titans lose, then it's tied up.
I feel like the best odds you would get is going to be if the Jaguars lose to the Jets. Because then if the Titans win, that could be it. It'll be a 2-loss difference. Jaguars will have 9 losses. It'll be a 2-loss difference. That might be the best. I mean, obviously, if you really like the Titans to win, you could wait after the Titans win if you really like them. It depends. I would wait and hope for a Jets win. That's what I would do. Because if the Jets win, that's going to reduce the odds. And you're going to have between Thursday and Sunday to think about hedging. And if you really wanted to be bold and hope the Titans win with a 2-game difference, then the odds might go to Jacksonville plus 150, and then you might be able to get even a better hedge. But yeah,
that could be the play. Continue part 2 on Friday, I think.
yeah, yep, absolutely. So yeah, just let me know when you're ready for that. And
yeah, definitely.
Other than that, man, always a pleasure.
You have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You take it easy.
Take it easy.